Dive straight into an explosive price predictions for Heroes of Mavia's Mavia token. This is an insight that you can't afford to miss. In my previous video, I unveiled a straightforward method for comparing crypto gaming tokens, offering a way to forecast their growth potential. If you haven't had a chance to watch that foundational guide, I highly recommend checking it out. I'll place a link above and in the description below where I go in depth in that analysis. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look at Heroes of Mavia and where it's settled right now, if it's going to give us some insights into its future potential and momentum. And I'm going to offer some key price levels that could signal potential higher growth or a further decline in value. GM to all the new faces and returning strategists. But before we get to the analysis, a quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. You can lose money with crypto and NFTs. While we're in the early stages of the cycle, it's crucial to understand we're in micro cap to small cap crypto games that now carries a higher level of risk, bordering on gambling. Please only use funds that you can afford to lose. Even a downturn in the overall market can result in significant losses. Proceed with caution and full transparency. I also own Mavia as well. Longer disclaimer, right? I'm starting these warnings early because I want it to be a reminder, not just for you, but for myself included, especially as we head into the later stages of this cycle, when things get frothy and everything is over bullish and euphoric, to remember your own risk management. Now, let's take a moment to revisit the price predictions that I made for Mavia at launch and see how things unfolded since then. First is the bear case of $1.80. This prediction was based on the assumption that Mavia could match the market cap of Phantom Galaxies, given that Heroes of Mavia's impressive NFT activity and sales already surpassed Phantom Galaxies in a shorter time frame with a more significant amount. This target seemed within reach. The base case of $4 to $6.10. For my moderate prediction, I aligned Mavia's potential with the market caps of games like Guild of Guardians, Shrapnel, and Big Time. This was based on, again, detailed analysis of their respective standings, their projects, the marketing, team execution, and a lot of other variables that went into it, and the inherent value in the way that the market perceived it. And then the bull case of $14.97 at the time. This was my most optimistic scenario, placing Mavia at the market cap comparable to Parallel. However, I consider the potential to reach up to $20.17, similar to Illuvium's market cap, which is a bit of a stretch. Despite Heroes of Mavia's strong potential, Illuvium have achieved more and executed at a higher level, setting the bar extremely high for success. So this is why I thought it was more unlikely. Now, fast forward to September 6th, Mavia debuted at an opening price of 80 cents with a circulating supply of 30 million tokens, leading to an initial market cap of 24 million. As of now, Mavia peaked at $10.59. I'm going to do a little bit of a different video, and I'm going to do a screen recording video so that I can do the analysis quick, do minimal editing, and be able to just get this out to you as fast as possible, because my editing and previous recording of this, I realized things were taking too long. So you're going to see a combination of me recording from yesterday to now. That's just going to be the general thought process of everything. And then the actual price analysis and covering everything else, I'm going to do that covering it here through a screen recording and through recording with my webcam instead. Heroes of Mavia ultimately ended up at $7.38, currently leaving us at a 221 market cap. One of the things that's new inside this analysis is I added in Axie Infinity, one of the market leaders, if not the market leader currently. So you can see game, this is the market cap currently, and this is what Mavia's price would be if it reached that market cap. Ultimately, Heroes of Mavia settled around underneath Parallel and above Big Time, where in my head, when I was looking at where Heroes of Mavia would end up, that's where I was contextually thinking of where it would end up. And I thought that Heroes of Mavia could potentially reach Parallel's market cap, with Illuvium being a stretch because of just how Illuvium's been executing recently. And Axie Infinity, it would take major momentum, adoption, new mainstream news coverage, countries like the Philippines adopting it in Southeast Asia. And until we get to that inflection point, I don't think we're going to be able to get Heroes of Mavia to those levels, at least at this point in time. But it is a mobile game, has higher reach, and it could be the Axie of this cycle. We don't know. It's still early. But pipe dreams, $36.67. Illuvium's market cap, if Mavia reached it, $20.23. And then if it reached Parallels, which I think is more reasonable, but still a stretch because Parallel has been making new announcements. So price has pumped a little bit. If Mavia reached there, it would be $14.40. These are not any price predictions soon. This is just if it were to reach those price levels. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't degen based on this alone, because I know some people are just going to look at this and they'll be like, ooh, don't do that. Now let's transition to analyzing how the market is reacting to Mavia. I wanted to check two new metrics that I didn't cover in the previous video. This is going to be 24-hour trading volume and TVL, or total value locked. Now let's explain 24-hour trading volume, comparing it to coins across all platforms. 24-hour trading volume shows the total amount that a game's token has been traded for the past 24 hours. It's a direct measure of market activity and liquidity. High volumes can indicate strong market interest and can also be a reaction to recent events or news. High trading volume, especially when accompanied by an increase in price, is often a sign of positive market perception. Now let's hop into the 24-hour trading volume analysis and bring in trading volume on top of these other metrics. So when we bring in trading volume, you can see that Heroes of Mavia, 61 million 24-hour volume. When I initially recorded the video, it was 82 million, which is crazy. That is a crazy 24-hour volume. When you compare all of these, it beat all of these, including Axie Infinity, but that is due to the hype around Heroes of Mavia currently. In just a day, it dropped from 82 million to 61 million. And one of the points I made previously is we need to see it be sustained and see where the actual levels are. But it's still pretty amazing when you compare it to all the other games. It's significantly high, but again, that could be hype. With the trading volume, if this can continue, this would place it above Illuvium, but even Big Time has high trading volume and is still trading lower, but that's due to a lot of other reasons within the tokenomics and the inflating supply within Big Time as well. And then one special note as well with Phantom Galaxies, they're going through a migration because the ETH bridge has some issues. I believe something was exploited, so they had to take out everything from the liquidity pools. So you're going to see that there was no 24-hour volume, or it's extremely low if you go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. So just keep that in mind. Also, a lot of these numbers are also rounded just so that it's easier to read and is easy on the eyes. So just remember that as well. But the real test is the endurance over time. Can Heroes of Mavia sustain this momentum moving forward, or is it just the degen crypto game of the moment? We have to wait and see if this can continue. Which brings us to TVL, total value locked. One of the more interesting things that I saw was, even though 24-hour volume decreased from 82 million down to 61, TVL increased, which is interesting. And like I mentioned earlier, like I mentioned before, it is something similar to a loyalty metric or it's belief in the long term for that token, because people are willing to lock up that token, put into a liquidity pool because they believe they can make more money over a longer period of time. So you're going to see whales, other players, sharks, smaller whales, tiny, big fishes inside these liquidity pools locking up their Mavia, putting in different pairs of Mavia and ETH because they believe they can make more money off of the fees and the activity, which shows strength over the longer period of time. And when you look at the TVL numbers, it makes a lot of sense in terms of how everything is ranked. Heroes of Mavia is 4th place. When you look at the giants, there's a lot to catch up. This is one of the reasons why I don't think Axie Infinity and Illuvium are reasonable for Heroes of Mavia to catch up currently. Because look at the TVL. The TVL is 413 million. Yes, this is a staking pool. Heroes of Mavia hasn't implemented any staking pools, but that's one of the benefits, is that because they have this much locked, it also makes all of the other tokens scarce as well. So it creates different dynamics on the supply side as well. Illuvium is at 283 million in their staking pool. Parallel doesn't have a staking pool, but when you look at the highest liquidity pool, it's about 12 million, which is right under Heroes of Mavia's 8.6 million. But when you look at Heroes of Mavia's TVL, it's increasing, which is a good sign. And then compared to the other games, which I was expecting, but I didn't look at these TVL till doing this analysis, everything lines up. There's a little bit more invested in Star Atlas, but they've been seeing different issues within their ecosystem. Sentiment isn't too high for the game. So this is something else that I expected as well. So what we're looking at here is the analytics behind the Uniswap liquidity pools. This is going to be specifically for the Mavia token. The TVL here is lower because this is just representing Mavia itself and not Mavia with ETH or the other pairing. When you do the other pairings and you look at the largest pool, which is Mavia and ETH, that's when it goes up to 8 million because it's half Mavia, half ETH typically. And how these work is players, whales, investors will pool their different assets together. They'll put in a pair of assets, they'll put into the pool, and then different people will come in, use Uniswap as the decentralized exchange to swap from Mavia to ETH, ETH to Mavia, Mavia to USDC, whatever other crypto is inside this pool. And based on that swapping, they'll make fees based on this. So this is why I like this as a good indicator, because if players, whales, investors are investing and locking up this money to make fees, that means they believe that they can make more money on fees in the long term. So tracking this is one of the things that I like to do to give me a better insight on the growth and also the potential. Because if you see a lot of people locking in a lot of money at one point, it means reaction to news, they can make fees right now. But if it stays that way and is sustained, that means that they believe that this is ongoing and there's more growth potential. One of the things that you're going to look here is TVL did go up since the beginning, which is expected. And then now we're starting to see about a settling point of where TVL is ultimately settling here. One of the biggest things that Axie and Illuvium has over Mavia is the fact that they have staking pools. Here's Axie, 425 million estimated reward. So this is the APR that they're getting, which is 35%, which is pretty good. And until Heroes of Mavia does something similar where they do a staking pool, which affects price because supply comes down because it's locked up, makes it a little bit more scarce. It also shows other potential investors that there is this much locked up TVL over this period of time, that this could be something to get into. Plus, looking at the estimated rewards, APR right here is 35%. Where else are you going to get that besides in crypto? And then before we get to my short-term, medium-term price predictions and what I'm looking at currently, one of the biggest things that you want to look at is the macro of crypto, because if Bitcoin, ETH take a major hit, a crash, you're going to see micro caps and small caps like this be absolutely destroyed, regardless of the fundamentals. Be very, very careful. So here we're looking at Bitcoin. I'd imagine unless it breaks this 50,648 level, we see a closure on the daily. I could see it coming down if that were to happen, if we were to break that level. But if not, I could see it ranging from 50,648 to 51,555 falling into this range, but probably going to the upper range. You saw where it ranged for a week or so within here from 51,687 to 52,321. I'm going to go out to the all-time high. So I'm going to look at this at, this is around $61,458. If this breaks on a closure, and if we see a wick, that just means price touched this. And then we have a confirmation. So it touches this, it comes back down to some level, and then there are more buyers on high volume. That means a lot of the market is participating, and we see it bounce and come back up and break this level, and it closes on the daily. I could see that going to all-time highs and going crazy at that point. It could come back down. Things are volatile. But if you've ever been part of a cycle, I've been in crypto since 2018. I've seen breakouts. These are the times that when you're looking and when you see a major breakout, Bitcoin is going to take off. And because Bitcoin takes off, it usually takes the entire market with it. Not all coins. Sometimes it hurts because the whole market is up, Bitcoin is up, your coins are down. And if we were to go back further, you can see this was 2018, coming back. This is a closure, touched, hit the closure, then came back down, was bought up, closed above all-time highs, market gets a little frothy, people start to believe that it's going to break, momentum starts to pick up. Then you see this. You'll see some type of candle that breaks, and then because of that, FOMO, hype, narrative, all of the above, but you have to keep watching it because it might not play out like this, but this is what happened, and then you see it reach all-time highs and then go through the cycle. So this is one of the things that I'm looking at for the overall health of the market and how it's going to affect microcaps. But you can get absolutely wrecked in this part because I did in altcoins. And when you get absolutely wrecked here, some of them never recovered. 75% loss, 80%, 90% losses, never to ever recover, even to this day. Even when this went back up, never recovered. So be careful with altcoins thinking that they could recover because they might not. So looking at this, the overall macro trend is good for Bitcoin. And because the Bitcoin macro looks good, now we can take a look at the individual price levels for Mavia token itself. These are the important price levels that I'm looking at. The blue boxes are going to be ranges that need to be broken before we see movement either to the upside or movement to the downside. On the downside, it's going to be a range of $7 to $6.76. Breaking here, wicking down, and having a closure on here, and then confirmation where it signals that it is a true move. High volume means a lot of people are participating. I could see it coming down to about $5.90 if that were to happen. That's just a key level that I'm looking at. In the middle, I'm looking at $8.73. So it's been ranging here. The time that it broke above that, broke this level, and then we could see it try to break through this resistance up here, which the top side is going to be $9.80 to $10.75, and then have ideally a closure and then confirmation. Either it comes back down and then closes and then goes up, or even just closes and just continues the trend upwards. That's what I'm going to be monitoring in the short to medium term. I don't know how long we're going to be here, but any news, the macro could move us above or beyond. So be careful. But this is what I'm looking at currently. And based on what we've seen, Mavia, in my opinion, looks like it's priced correctly inside this range with potential to move forward, either on the news of more player adoption because it's a mobile game, or on the news of the marketplace opening and it actually being profitable. Looking at TVL for the long term, tracking 24-hour volume, seeing how things trend, and then any news on top of that as potential price catalyst could move it forward. But any bad news as well could move it down. Let me know if you like these screen recordings, and if you want to see me do quicker analysis, put out more videos where I cover the different trading ranges and levels that I'm looking at and what I'm thinking inside my head, so that hopefully that helps you navigate all of these crypto coins better and also the overall market better. Let me know what you think below. Also, let me know what you think of the potential of Mavia and my analysis so far of where you think Mavia is going to be heading. Would love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to get more technical analysis and just get an intro into support and resistance, one of the things that I mentioned earlier, check out this video